The more I think about how to navigate this video and discussion, the more I realize Silent King exists in a very unique space. Not just as a first impression, I haven't even consulted any of their works yet, but just the presence and how I approach them puts them in a singular route that other content creators could probably speak to this, I don't necessarily know. But to give you a bit of a behind-the-scenes insight, if you're interested in how I approach new talents, which is something I do on a regular basis on this channel, as I've said for many times, it's been a long aspiration of mine since I founded this channel to bring music on in a more dominant role alongside other artistic ventures I cover in the entertainment scene. It's a first love. It's a dominant passion in my life in terms of music consumption and consultation of new artists and always discovering, who's out there that I haven't happened upon yet. There's different routes that I've taken to exploring artists. And again, I think anybody can relate to this on a grand scale, whatever your method might be. It might be as simple as you turn on the radio and it's, obviously shuffling through different artists and songs, or you hop on a streaming app or social media. Let's say, for example, YouTube. You type in one track you like and then all these randomized plays or recommendations come in. You're like, okay, I've never heard of this artist. You go down that path, right? For a content creator, and I'm operating again on past knowledge of how I've entertained different artists outside of those that are familiarized to me. Perhaps I'm covering an established artist by name, or maybe somebody that's fresh, and the comment section will get filled in with, and this has been the case in the past, 10 or 12 different names of artists that I should go and consult. And I do keep all your recommendations on a list, by the way. I'm making my way through. It's a lot of names, and it takes time to produce this content. These are, in terms of the videos I produce on this channel, music coverage is very much a passion project. They take a bit longer and more of an extensive effort. And I don't mind doing it. It just takes a bit more exercise to release said content and to even produce it. So I'll get recommendations, all the time. Or perhaps I have to exercise some effort and I will go look up names maybe on a particular database or website or groups that are associated, for whatever reason, maybe in genre or past concert appearances and different collaborations. There's a variety of ways, even the collaborative model. I'll take one artist that's familiarized and then I'll engage with, a tune that has another guest artist and I'll look at their works. There's a variety of paths I take to exploring new talents. I've never come across a case, certainly not on this channel yet, where exposure comes through a follow on a social media page. And granted, I'm not the most active. I'm trying to be better at this as I build out reestablish certain elements of this channel. I have to do a lot of behind the scenes work, and so this is something obviously I think about routinely. I've been working a lot on rebuilding certain social media extended sites. Let's say, for example, a Twitter page, an Instagram page, stuff like that. So I was kind of surprised where I barely established anything really in regards to posts or attention on Instagram for this channel. And suddenly one day this random follow pops in. I've got a couple follows from people that follow this channel. I've had some pleasant exchanges as well on that line. But this one notification pops on my phone for Silent King. And at first I'm like, okay, maybe they're just like, somebody on Instagram. And then I looked at them deeper because I'm like, this is interesting. Silent King band. Clicked on them. They're an emerging talent. I'm not exactly sure how we crossed paths, but I figured it's an act of courtesy. Because this is an emerging talent, and I love to help amplify names that deserve recognition, and I do give that provision out. At this point, there's not been one occasion where I haven't been impressed with the groups I've consulted. I figured as a thank you for the follow, I would probably do this anyway, but the follow helped, I guess, to build recognition to me finding and discovering them. I figured I would spotlight Silent King eventually. They have 2 songs thus far released. I understand they're working on an EP, and I believe don't quote me on this, but I think from past understanding, they're an emerging Oklahoma-based Christian metal group. I thought I saw at one point their Instagram page that they were a Christian band. Maybe that was in a passing comment. I forget exactly. But I haven't looked at them deeply. This is very much a first impression that you're getting. Maybe for some of you, this is going to be the same story. Perhaps some of you are approaching this being familiarized with their work, and you've already been a fan of theirs for a little while. I don't know necessarily how long they've been around, or when did they release the first track? That would have been The Curse, and we're looking at that in a minute. June 2nd of last year. Okay, so they've been around for a couple months. They could have built up an audience already, and hopefully, I get to say then I'll be a part. I'm sure at this point I will be a part of it, and maybe you will be too. this could be very much a collaborative experience where we're both approaching new talent that we haven't discovered before, or we maybe know the name of, but we haven't entertained their music. Again, I've been meaning to for a little while, because that follow came in, I think, a couple months back, and there's a lot of artists I consult. Silent King, I'm finally looking at your work today. With the Curse, we're going to start there. With, I believe, yes, there's a video that comes along, and it's going to be a lyric video. For some of you who may not be familiar as to how I format my content on this channel in regards to music coverage, I do like to provide every accommodation I can to suit listener tastes, and I oftentimes will provide the lyrics for you manually in the video. I appreciate when the opportunity comes up when artists do that for me, because it means I can get the content out to you faster as well, because it saves me a bunch of editing time, and I don't mind doing it, by the way. I like to be able to give a complete account in terms of the content I produce. But it's nice when artists save you a bit of time labor. Anyway. So already, Silent King is building up a good repertoire in my mind. Anywho, The Curse. Here we go. Let's take a look at it and engage this piece for ourselves. And we'll get to read along again, like I said, but the message of it as we proceed through. Okay, together. Here we go. I'm a big metalhead too, so obviously you've got me right here in terms of genre focus. Let's see what direction it takes, too, because there could be, a variety of approaches to this. It could be soft, harsh, we'll see. Softer opening. The beachfront, it's very enticing, relaxing. Okay, there's our lead-in. Riff. Good background foundation. Nice, chunky. It's heavy. Ah, I like this. See, that's what I gravitate to, the aggressive. Avoid, keep an open mind.
There's a path I want that leads to sorrow's edge.
I like this guy's voice. It's who's the artist I'm thinking of? Todd Agnew? Maybe. It sounds a lot like him. I don't believe it is, but it just had that similar tonality. If you've heard his music before, he's good layering. Okay. Nice accompaniment. Nice variants. I like that dancing. He's beautiful. Okay, nice shift. So we have at least two vocalists here. It's a good accompaniment. Works really well for the song's establishment, in my opinion. Good analogy in the writing. Good drive. Nice lingering growl to in the background. It's a wonderful, wonderful linger. There's a furrowed path here in the foundation. I like how they switch intensity too in terms of the vocal performances. So each chorus, I believe I'm operating on memory. Nice acceleration of her voice there too in the growth. Like you hear his voice more prominence in the chorus, one version than hers. Good emphasis. Strong. Great tracking. Really, it's sufficient. Even flow. There's a future for this group. I can't wait to hear more. Easy repeat. Love it. Nice differentiation too on the last iteration of the chorus here. Very engaging first listen. I've said many times, and I'm sure it will not be the last. I love being able to establish, again, the feeling I have in entertaining first listens really is, it's so important to me. There's just this experience. Maybe this is part of the reason, again, I push so much into music reactions on this channel. It's not just been an ambition of mine. It's not the same. I brought this example up in previous examples. Let's say when I covered Ad Infinitum, Swiss symphonic metal, if you're not familiar. I highly recommend them as well. I've covered 15 of their works thus far on this channel, soon to be 23 with their new album, Chapter 3 Downfall. That comes out the 31st, and we get all those tracks. And I've said I'm going to cover that album in full. I can't wait for that. But I said with them, I covered a good sampling to get a good foundation of them in December of this last year. And listening to their albums in full, which I've done, both the previous chapters 1 and 2, Monarchy and Legacy in respective order of release dates, that there was this feeling that I had covering them, being able to share with others, even if perhaps I can't necessarily see a face, I'm just reading a comment or just seeing the interaction on the channel. I consider it an invaluable experience to have that connection point as somebody who does not have this resonance in his personal life. Most people that I know are not into metal. I have always been an anomaly in that respect. But again, I speak my day-to-day personal face-to-face life. It's been great to have a connection forged with others that it's like, oh, there are people out there on music taste, so I'm not as alone as I thought. And everybody approaches the music scene differently, but there's a bonding that if I listen to music on its own in my own solitude, I miss out on. And as fun as it is, like I've said, for example, with Ad Infinitum, this was the case, where chapters 1 and 2, it was great to listen to the remaining 8 songs of each album that I did not cover on the channel, but it just wasn't the same. Right? Because yes, these pieces are great, but it would have been wonderful to discover that with other fans and new listeners. There's just this collaborative experience I love with music, in bonding with others that have similar passions and favorability. A song like Silent King, a song like The Curse by Silent King, I experienced the same feeling. Again, I'm discovering a new group that maybe, does not necessarily... I'm looking at their YouTube count. They got 52 subscribers on the YouTube page, over 1,300 followers on Instagram. That's not bad. That's a good following. So obviously there are people paying attention. If I can help in any way that I can to establish, new attention towards artists that deserve it, I really would love to be able to do that if I can manage it. And I hope I can with Silent King. It's the experience of listening to talent like Silent King for the first time. It just wouldn't be the same on my own as it is right now as I'm sitting here listening to it with others, right? That perhaps you've approached this channel in consideration of another group. But because I do keep a general music playlist, and this is partly my intention in doing so, not just for organization's sake, but if you go down with one, right, another artist will pop up and you'll be curious by name, I haven't heard Silent King before, or maybe another artist I've spotlighted in the past, that there's some, again, you come through perhaps another group, but you're you want to discover more. I'd love to have an experience if I can, especially when it comes to first impressions. it's just not the same when you're listening to music on your own in your solitude as it is making music a collaborative enjoyment. And I feel for a song like The Curse, that's one of the best ways you can enjoy it. It's a wonderful piece, I think, especially in setting a baseline of this group going forward. There's a lot of talent expressed here. I mean, some mainstream traits to the Christian metal scene and the metal scene more generally. Again, I'm operating off that one comment that I saw, and perhaps a vibe of it in the song, too, in terms of lyrical construction. Key elements here for me that, again, are maybe existent with other groups that perhaps are strategically adopted traits to exercise, ambition going forward, to set a good foundation, but I think it's a thorough one, and I do feel that going forward, Silent King is going to evolve beautifully from this piece. Again, like I said, The Curse, easy repeat listen. I cannot wait to hear more in the way of, what's the other song I'm consulting from them in another video? Breaking Point. The lyrical construction to this, the writing too, what was that one line I came across? Yes, second chorus. It's where, by the way, side note again, actually, let me start there before I get into the lyrics. I love the structure of this. Again, great bass line on entry. It's very soft, kicks in with the heavier riffs. Fabulous bass line for me. The chorus sections with the switch up, I think this was the case, the switch up of the vocalists. So the male voice takes on the first because it's the first iteration of the verse, and then the second verse kicks in with the, I don't know the band members' names, the woman's voice, and then there's the roles translate on each iteration of the chorus depending on, again, who's singing the verse. I think it's a great pattern. At least that's what I heard. Let me confirm if that is the case just really quickly. I really thought it was, at least when I heard it. It's not oftentimes I hear a translation like that. Yeah. Each switches. I like that role change. It's a fabulous idea. I'd love to see if more groups play around with that. That's kind of fresh. I mean, again, it's not just necessarily adopted traits that are consistent with other groups, and there's sort of this parallel being made. Those are fresh lines here that maybe other groups have happened upon that I'm forgetting at the moment, but I don't remember hearing employment like that often. Silent King has really put themselves in an interesting space, at least in consideration of their work. But again, the thick riffs, the pattern of the song, the chorus structure, the wavering as well on those end lines on each ending of the chorus sections was fabulous, in my opinion. I love wavering like that. And the line work, too, like I said with the song, actually, let me just pull up the YouTube page on this, because that actually has the lyrics pulled up already. That's easier than navigating through my video player. There's a path I've often wandered back in shame where the sun can dry the guilt that's dripping from my face. I like that analogy. It's sort of like sun is drying up, the image of rain. It's very natural. Plays well into the visual imagery, by the way, in the choice of the video. I really like it. The feeling I experience in this song is quite cathartic. There's a feeling that, and though sometimes, again, it's harder to do this on occasion when you're consulting songs for the first time. Some songs require a deeper presence and familiarity to best extract their adaptation into your life, if that's permitted. So a song like this, again, maybe I have to let it sit with it a bit more, because I haven't looked into the intention of the songwriters, if this has been provided anywhere, to understand the inspiration of the lyrical side of this song. I'm just operating again on how it personally applies, and I think I need to spend more time on it in feeling how it best integrates, so I can say the quality of the writing is pretty rich here. And the song structure, as a metal rock guy, this I really feel exists in a good middle ground territory between the two genres for me. I quite like it. It's a great fit, good establishing tune, especially going forward with a group like Silent King. And I've had my eye on them for a while, and there's, you sometimes experience that feeling too, at least in consideration of groups, where you're like, I think this is going to be a strong listen. I had that vibe going in, and I'm happy to say that's the result. I feel there's a promising future for this group, and I cannot wait, to listen to more, and then call myself at least a fan of what's currently available. And perhaps, again, if I can do this in any way, to help embolden an artist that deserves said attention. And I hope it's the experience that you had as well with Silent King. Maybe some of you, again, are approaching this video being already familiarized to the group. Again, pretty large Instagram following, developing YouTube following. I hope to at least throw attention their way if I can. Again, this is basically a attempted thank you for the follow, I guess in long form. But, this is the type of group I like consulting. Fresh listens. And I love at this point, again, it's been a universal feeling for me that I've enjoyed every artist I've given that type of adulation to. Silent King is no different, and I hope for you it's the same response. Let me know if you so wish to disclose your respective down below what your thoughts are on the piece, and perhaps what angle you're approaching as well, if you're a familiarized fan or if this is a fresh introduction. I'm obviously keen going forward. I can't wait to hear more from Silent King. The Curse, like I said, great bass line. Great song. Highly enjoyable. Cannot wait to listen to it again. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.